Okay, let's see if that works. And if you guys can hear me. There is a bit of a delay with the chat, but if you guys can let me know if you can hear me okay and how the volume is. Do you hear the background music at all? And is that too loud? Yeah, I don't know why that's off. Let's see if I can fix that. Yeah, I should have been getting this all set up and everything, but I got caught up in the chat with you guys. Trying to help people out. And I'm really new to this. This is only my second stream, and I've never used XSplit before this, so it's all a learning process. It should be getting a full screen. There we go, that's looking better. Well, okay, we'll officially start this. Hi, everybody. I'm Echo, and my gamer tag is Echo66, and known on chat as Ekhoart. Tonight, I'm going to be going over a couple of things that I've created and a couple of tips that I've picked up along the way. Hopefully, those of you that haven't been around, this will be new to you. Some of you, this may be repeat stuff, since a lot of the stuff I learn on the streams here as well as you. What I'm going to start with, you may have seen before if you've been around a while. It's called Beta Hunt. It was the first, I don't know if it was actually the first level I put out there, but it was the first kind of major one I worked on and pretty much finished. There's a couple fine-tuning things that I'd like to finish up on it, possibly add a second level to it, but one of the big problems I had with it was the combat in it, and it was couldn't get it working no matter what I tried, and finally figured that out, which ended up being super simple, but kind of hidden. So I'm going to go ahead and play through this for those of you who haven't seen it before. And please go check it out. I think it's pretty fun when I had fun making it, and I have fun playing it. Though it's not perfect. I do want to finish a little bit here on the UI and move things around a little bit so they're clearer. I was just learning recently how to do some more work with the UI and get things positioned exactly where you want them. But this was basically for those that watch the Team Dakota streams up to and including the launch of beta, and the hard time we had getting any information about beta keys and actually getting keys in our hands in the beginning. They're going out well now, though. So anyway, we'll start by looking in the treasure chest here. What? Empty? Where are the beta keys? Lescaut, he is, that's Mike Lescaut. For those of you that don't know, he is the community manager for Team Dakota and usually runs the live streams, which hopefully will be back next week. I'm pausing to check chat here. Making sure there isn't the background noise isn't too high or anything. That's a nice little pile of 10 there. I don't know if Nini's around tonight, but this is in her honor, one of the very active and first community members that came up with the U-shaped Hill Appreciation Society or something like that, and actually sells t-shirts and everything for it. So good on her. And she does great streams on here. I missed hers today. And here it is. This is what I had trouble with for so long, trying to fix these fireballs so that they actually would do damage. It seemed like no matter what I did with them, they were not having any effect, and the timing's a little off on this now because I was playing around with it so much. But I got it to work. They actually, now you can see in the health meter in the upper left hand corner that they actually do hit you and do damage. I found out the simple little trick that I don't even know how got changed, but in the character's brain himself, he was turned invulnerable or something, so it never had any effect on him. There's a nice little heart to replenish. And look out, Henry has laid some traps. And that's a reference to Henry Searchy, who is also on almost all of the live streams and just loves his bear traps. Now here we have a choice to go up or down, just to kind of show the level. And we'll go down, and here the giant goblin comes out, yelling about what's all the noise about beta keys. I guess that noise has died down a little bit now. And if you're looking to get all 100 coins, then you do have to go that way and get them. You're repeating the beginning, but that's what I put in the sprint for, because it's nice to kind of get through the areas you've been through already, or if you fall off. Oh, okay. guess I'm out of practice. It's funny while you're working on these games and making them, and you do so many iterations and reiterations and testing and all of that, that a lot of these types of games you just get to be really proficient at, and you run right through them, and then you don't really know where the bugs are because you're just going where you need to go. Okay. And obviously I haven't played this one for a while because I used to just walk right through this. And I know earlier a lot of people were talking about the 2D side-scrolling and how to avoid the traps of when you're bumping into terrain or other objects that throwing you off of your line of access. There we go. I wasn't sure I was going to make that one. We found a magic sword, but it's not a beta key. That chest you can't get to down there, but that's the treasure chest of hats, because as anyone knows, if you're in Team Dakota or streaming, you need a hat. Claude and the Dancing Goblins. Claude's another member of Team Dakota that did a dancing. I think he actually did like a, I don't know if it was a goblin. He was dancing with a troll maybe or something. They were showing off the abilities of Connect and what the recordings you'll be able to do with your own motion. And there we just passed the run around in October. That drove me nuts during that whole time of October, November, and when beta keys were going to come out, which didn't end up actually happening until December. But it was definitely worth the wait. And there's the beautiful cutscene, which I'm glad is working now. That there's some timing issues with that. It doesn't always work as smoothly as I'd like. And there we can see the key. And the door to adventure awaits. Congratulations, there we have it. You now have access to the Amazing World of Project Spark, which is amazing. Those of you in beta know. It can be a little trying at times with some of the crashes and with the learning curve of getting to know the code and how to actually get things done. But it's an amazing game. I do have this set up now that if you didn't get all 100 coins, you can press R and that returns you right to the beginning, and you could go back and find the ones that you missed if you did, and then X to actually exit out the game. I don't have it set to reset the whole game. That I'm still working on how I'd want to do that, and think I could have done that in an easier way if I'd kind of thought that from the beginning, and maybe set it up in logic cubes or something. But eventually I want to get that so you can get back to the beginning if you need to, or restart the whole game, because right now there's everything that you picked up as a gone. You still have the sword, all of that. And one of the things that I know we were talking earlier this evening on one of the streams about the 2D side scrolling. Thanks, Chug. It was a lot of fun to do. And like I said in the beginning, there's actually a tile in Project Spark for 2D side-scrolling, which makes it super easy to set up. Unfortunately with that, the problem I had with it is when you go forward, you're facing forward, and when you go back, you're walking backwards. And I didn't like that. Just the aesthetic of that really threw me off, so I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to get them to turn back and forth. And then still ended up running into the issues of hitting terrain and objects and being thrown off the axis. But eventually, okay, I ended up doing, okay, look at the character, which does end up connecting everything in a strange way, but I think it was Henry actually helped me out a little bit on that, and locking the position, which for me in the way I set it up ended up being the Z axis, and lock that and set that as the start position, and then basically all the objects that I want to be interacted with on the plane are also set to that same Z position of the character. And that fixed the problem of it getting bumped off left or right, although I think it was Eris earlier had a great little trick of using the wooden signs as barriers and making them invisible. Does anybody have any questions about this level or how things were done or anything like that? Tribal, that's a great idea. I didn't do any of that in this one when I was first learning. Although the ones I'm working on now, I found that naming your brains is a really good idea, and it makes it a lot easier to access things and find stuff. Yeah, should have been 20 by now, and I was looking for a couple of props, but I ended up sick over after Christmas and through the new year, and so I didn't get to work on things as much as I wanted. In fact, what we have coming up next is the game I'm working on now, and it's not nearly as far along as I wanted it to be by the stream time, but that's all right. You get a sneak preview. Just checking chat here. Okay, well, it doesn't look like no questions here. Coming back out of this one. And this is actually the original, which I think a couple of people said they had run into the same problem, where when I was editing the original one, I ended up putting in a downloadable content prop or a prop that the code reacted to as if it was DLC, and it locked the level somehow. After that, I couldn't ever get back in to edit it or do anything with it, and I didn't want to lose all my stats on it, so I ended up having to put the update in a new file and share it that way, which kind of sucks because you only have 5. So, and there's a lot of things that, as you can see here, there's one I have props for housing, which I've shared, and it was pretty fun. It was very early on. I'd like to kind of keep that one now just to play around with props, and I've got a couple different files I use to play around with props. Not as exciting as some of the people like Eris and the prop makers out there. They're just doing amazing things. This Island of Fear was just a funny little level I put together. I've added a couple things since then. It's not really even a full game. It was just testing out some code and kind of being a little humorous. And we'll check it out real quick. This character is stranded on a desert island, the Island of Fear. Just some birds flying around. I actually set them up so that they circle. You can see the shadows here. So after they take off, they come around and circle you. I threw this little guy in here just to give me some damage to make sure this was working, which is the little magical mushroom field that heals you up. And here's my terrain-changing squirrels. I was trying to figure out how to get that terrain action happening, and the squirrels were a fun idea to do it, and so I put several of them in here, and they just go around changing the terrain as they are. Unfortunately, what didn't happen that I wanted to happen was them to be continuously changing it, so you had this continuously active landscape. But right now they just change whenever they jump and bump into the land. So since I'm the only playable character in here, they only do it when I'm near. And then the other thing was just wanted to have a forest where all the trees were afraid of you and would run away. However, there are some stumps that like to throw apples at you, which do damage. But the funny thing about them, again, this was early on, and I didn't realize about default brains and taking them out when you're using them as other items. But these apples actually can heal you, so I left them in when I found that out. I thought that was kind of funny. So as they're killing you, you can just pick up an apple and heal back up. Playing around with the waterfall effect. I think somebody was asking about that earlier. And the poison gas. Which I don't know why these fish, they actually are in the water, but they're acting as if they're on land. But I think it actually ends up being a cool effect for the skeleton fish. So right now that's all there is to this one. Just a fun little bit of adventure and playing around with code. And some ideas. This one is the one I'm currently working on, and right now it's just called Dungeon. I haven't shared it. That's not even its title. It's just a working title right now. No description, nothing, no tags, nothing of that yet. It's not even remotely ready to be shared. Let's see. I'm always hesitant. They need to be able to go in and just be able to edit your own stuff. I'm always hesitant to hit that remix. I know a couple people have had. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I had fun with the trees. The coloring of them to be really outrageous. There's a sound issue with that guy. But this one is actually my idea for this game. We were talking a couple. I think it was Jill earlier was asking about a Zelda-like game, and I don't know if this is Zelda-like, but it's sort of inspired by. And let's actually, I think if we go into edit, you can see the names of the characters right now. I saw somebody do this when they were streaming, that they set up a little platform way up in the sky to kind of create all of their objects and the things they want in the game, and then spawn them in the game from templates, which is really a good idea, because then you just have to change things, the codes, if you want to adjust things in one place instead of all of them if you're using multiple items. I'm not going to be using multiples of these characters, but I just did this to be able to have a place to do it. And also, we were talking about the sound issues earlier, and that's a problem I have with, in fact, I'll even show, I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it, but I dropped the water level way down, and this doesn't seem to be happening right now, or I have the volume too low. But I was getting a lot of kind of background noise, and I turned everything off that I could, and it was just getting really annoying. But now that somebody else was talking about the feedback from the controller, that could have been the issue too, because I literally just got an Xbox 360 controller for the PC for Christmas, which I was very excited about, and especially for Project Spark, because there definitely seems to be things that the controller is much better at doing and easier. Although if you start out with the mouse and keyboard, it's a little weird to then jump over to a controller. But once you kind of get the hang of it, there's definitely things like the building props is very easy with the controller. Right now, I'm not sure about landscape, probably because I've done so much with the mouse and keyboard with landscape for so long. But when you're searching or doing any coding, the mouse and keyboard works a lot better as far as so you can type things in and find them easier. Although if you're kind of using the wheels and learning where things are, then the controller works better for that. I think it's an interesting mix that they have, since they're trying to be cross-platform, that they're using all these different input devices, and they all work pretty well, and some better in areas than others. So to take a look at these, here is the... Oops. I'm terrible at scrolling in and out of these things. They make people dizzy. But here's going to be the main character, and his name is Nickel, Nikl, all dressed in green, and this is all paying homage to Link from Zelda fame, and he's going to be having to rescue Princess Dazzle, who, if you play on those names, Dazzle and Nickel are both just scrambled up Zelda and Link. That's actually pretty... Whoop, just take her skirt off. Why is that? I hate when that happens. But you don't have the... That's a little off there. But it was fun making these characters. I like to take the things that are out there and kind of use them in different ways and make new stuff, which a lot of people are doing, and it's great. I love to see what everybody comes up with and how different objects can come out of the same building blocks, essentially. And she's basically, her bottom of her dress is a haystack, just colored differently, and her crown is actually a bear trap. It's just kind of the middle part sunk into her head, and the other part's colored. And then we have the, oop, did it again. The evil wizard Ognon, which is Ganon scrambled. And it just kind of made him, dark and foreboding. He's going to be kind of a shadowy figure anyway, especially in this first level. You're not going to really see much of him. And then here's a fire imp that I had a lot of fun putting him together. Although this is one of those areas that we were talking about with the sounds. I'm sure you could take a squirrel and flip it upside down and make a hat. You'd probably want to make sure that the physics were checked on that one, definitely, because it'll jump off and run away in the default brain. See these guys without all their... And there you get that, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's that little bit of kind of stutteriness in the beginning, and it's all from these fire effects, because there are multiple fire effects. And I've gone through and turned the sound on all of them off or down to 0, the volume on the sound of each one. Yeah, cool. Did you... I think I saw that, and it's closed, right? So you've got that sort of jaw look to the bear trap. That's very cool. Yeah, we were talking earlier about the fire poker, and I was thinking another one. There's one of the spooky fence posts would actually make a really good spikes or crown. I was originally thinking about using that as a crown and just creating one, but I thought, oh, that's going to take too long with doing them all individually and everything, and the bear trap worked okay. At first I didn't think it was going to work, and I thought I'd have to do it the other way, but it ended up working out alright. But the little fire imp, I like him. He's going to be one of my favorite characters, I think. He's got the little spiky tail, and the wings in back, horns on top, big fiery sword. He has a fireball around his left hand. Yeah, right now it's just playing around with the brains in there, and right now she just follows wherever he goes. And the evil wizard follows her wherever she goes. Look over here, there's a couple of things over here. Some of the objects I'm working with in the game. There's a couple of the creatures I have for battling. There's a flaming flying skull. Which he might even end up killing me. He's still a work in progress, this one. And then there we've got the spinner. This guy can't zoom in on here. But, snapper guy. And he's actually started out as a seed, I believe, and some just rock formations to make the spines and the fins, and a fish skeleton for the face, and a couple of fireballs for the eyes. Oh, nice, Eris. Yeah, I like that. The spooky fence post is cool. Is that the sunflower seed? That might be the sunflower seed. There's two of them, two seeds in there. And this is the one that actually looks really good. I think Eris, you need to spaceship out of it or something. It looks really cool. A couple of fountains and treasure chests and things like that in the background. There's a quick overview of the dungeon. It's not even, like I said, this is not even close to being ready to go yet. Here's the spooky fence around the outside of that. And I'm planning on basically having some creatures in here to fight, as well as some puzzles, like like they do in sort of Zelda, and maybe some references to other games. I'm trying to throw in just, kind of all the different characters that I've come across in a lot of the games I've played over the years, and kind of do that, make them sort of a hidden references. Started to thinking about doing the village over here. I had this idea of creating the village. I'm not sure. I haven't worked with object sets yet, but I think it will work. You guys can let me know if you think it's a good idea. As far as setting up like the village in the starting area and putting them all in an object group that makes them visible or invisible. So when you leave the village, you can make the village invisible and kind of give it a sense of traveling further to get to where he's going and stuff without having to use a lot of the real estate for land. Thanks, Jill. Yeah, it is. It's really amazing everything, the things you can do with it. It's amazing by itself what they have in here, what's built into the game, what you can do with that. Just throwing default stuff down, and then you add on being able to use those props and objects that they have in there, and putting them together to create your own. And it really is limitless. Some of the creations like talk about, like Eris has done, and a couple of the other people I've seen are just really incredible. They're very inspiring and just amazing. Nini, she's also done a lot of, watched a couple streams of hers doing some statues that were just incredible. Multiple, yeah. I've already got one room for a big boss of this level. I do plan on making this larger and growing it. I really kind of focus on getting the first level done and finalized. I haven't really even started working any of the things like the UIs or the mechanics, which there's a lot of people that have been working a lot on those types of things out there, and I might just have to do some collaborating and borrowing of other people's stuff. I believe there's like a circular picker or something for inventory that somebody did that I think looks really amazing. I'm so impressed by them to be able to do that. I've looked at the code on that, and I need to go back and look at it again because I could get lost in it a couple times. But it's interesting, and I love that people are doing it. And that's the other thing I like about Project Spark that you can do, is that you can share your ideas and things that you do well and borrow from other people with things that they do well. It makes it amazing. I'll take a quick look at the tree over here. I really like the way that came together. This was done out of both terrain with the wood painting on it and the kind of ivy all over the branches and stuff, and then added additional branches for the canopy. And this has kind of got some places in here for to be sort of the platform style, and a couple of hidden coves and things in there, and the roots and inside the tree, and a couple other things that are in here now that I originally had the idea for when doing this that I'm not going to show off now. They're kind of my special surprise for when it gets out there. Fun little tricks with a couple of props here. But yeah, so this is the sneak preview on the upcoming level from Echo. Like I said, I really did want to have more done and more to show you. There's that noise issue. If anybody knows any more about the sound issues, let me know. And that's the other thing that this helped with in doing a kind of a working plane way up here and away from everything else, is the sounds are in there. And when you have sounds in your props that are sitting nearby the area you're working at, it can get a little annoying after a while. To make an area slippery like ice, I haven't done it. That was one of the areas I was very disappointed in when we found out what was actually going to be in beta, that the whole ice and snow terrain and biome was not even going to be there. Because that was, I think somebody mentioned earlier that they had seen on one of the early Project Spark streams, that they had a character that was building terrain as they were running. And from the very first moment I saw that, I thought that would be a very cool thing to do with ice and make it kind of like Iceman. So that was like one of my first thoughts, and kept thinking as soon as beta comes out, I'm going to try that and see if we can't get something really cool looking like that for an Iceman character. And then of course it comes time for beta and they're not even including ice in it, and so a little disappointed on that, but it will be eventually coming. One thing I did notice in one of the streams where they were talking about the water pool prop and using that they actually used a logic cube to make some movement. So that's one way act that you could try and make it slippery, is just put in logic cubes that'll push the character in a certain direction or something like that. It's an idea. I don't think there's really much else I can show on this. I don't know if they changed the animations for this, but the flying on this animation is really cool. I mean, I think I remember this one kind of being there, but then when you're going faster, that sort of Superman move there, it's very cool. I don't remember that being in the beginning, if that came in the patch or something. And I love playing around with the artistic side of Project Spark, just like building these terrains and painting them and layering, especially the fact that you can layer the paints and you get that all the different effects together, and it really gives it a lot of depth, and that really helps your game. The little attention to details, and those little details really can make a game stand out and bump them up. And I've only got this character will not be a flying character. I just have it set up that way now so I can move around my world easily when I'm testing things and checking things out. Let's see. There were a couple of tips that we kind of mentioned them there that I think, but I'll just mention them again. That definitely, I know that came in chat. People are talking about when you're building props and putting things together, make sure you check the physics, because a lot of the props that you can equip or handle or pick up or anything like that. Thanks, Joe. They have built-in physics and they're set to like tumbling and things like that, so you can spend all this time putting things together and then go to look at it and they just kind of fall apart. So definitely check the physics, make sure that they're set to fixed when you're using them to build other props, and also default brains. Many of the items have default brains in them, and that can really mess up a prop that you're creating if you're not aware of it. Yeah, I did that, I think, earlier this morning. I try. That's also why I'm so far up in the levels there. As soon as they came out with the challenges, at first I was very excited, and then I was like, oh, I don't know, that's going to take away from gameplay time. Because I am a WoW player, and the challenges and achievements, I guess, I'm kind of like, that is one of the things that really gets me and I like to do. So I have pretty much tried to do every daily challenge since I've been in beta, and get most of them. There's a couple of them that, particularly in those areas, especially early on with the cameras, that I couldn't figure out, and I thought I had figured out, but they weren't showing, so I didn't know if I just didn't do it right or if there was a bug with it, cause especially when it first launched. Let's see if I can remember what that was about. Challenges. Oh, of course, now it doesn't tell me what the things are. And I didn't save it. I usually just pull up a blank world when I'm doing the challenges. I know they kind of set it so you could just kind of get them as you're doing your own stuff and playing, and some of them I've got that way. But a lot of times I'll just create a blank world, jump in there, and specifically do challenges, just do some painting and sculpting. Like I said, I like kind of the art side of that as well, and we'll just jump in and play around for a while, like a scratch pad, a three-dimensional scratch pad of Project Spark, and yeah, I think earlier they called it a digital canvas, and that's definitely how I look at it sometimes. Hey, Mike. Hey, good to see you. Mike, let's go, everyone. He's usually lurking around somewhere. Looking forward to the next stream. Hope you had a happy holidays, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you guys back on the air. So yeah, back to those tips. It was definitely check the physics, check the default brains. Is it the on path part? That was the part that gave me issues in the beginning. And also the do's. When you're looking at do's, do them in separate lines. Do your letterbox first. Do your camera. I think the camera I went with on that one was a follow camera, and then did a child rule under that for the moving with flying along the path. And then you have to set the path first, and then you can do the in-wheel picker on which path you want to use. I just really started kind of learning a little bit more about the paths, and I think this is the first time I got that one to work. And I'm still transitioning between on and off paths. I'm having some issues there, but it's all a learning process. So the more you play around with it and the more you test things out, the easier it is to do. And definitely tune in on the streams, because there's a lot of good information. I find I'm watching the streams almost as much as I'm spending time playing, or more sometimes. Sometimes it's almost annoying. I want to get back to the game, but I enjoy the community so much, and listening to what other people have to say and their ideas and seeing what they've done. It's amazing. And of course, anytime I can help out, I'm always eager to help people out, especially if they're new, because I've been around this since I think it first came out, or first heard of it, and it's been the game that I've been dreaming of, I think, my entire life, or near close to it. So it's very exciting. Yeah, if you guys read in chat there, Eris, the pages, when you're setting up sort of the organizing brains and things, definitely use your pages. I've seen people that have gone 150 lines of code in a single page, which you can do. Project Spark doesn't have any problem with that. But just for ease of use, if you're setting up pages, makes it easier to organize, makes it easier to reference things. And logic cubes, I mentioned that earlier. Don't go with the logic cubes. I think that's one of the issues with the beta hunt that I have, is if I would have set things up originally with logic cubes and just creating stuff, I could easily go back and change things, or much easier, change it in one place rather than changing it, say, in 100 places if you want to do something different with coins you already set down. And that's something, it's so much easier to do if you think about it in the beginning than if you're going back and trying to fix it later. Oh, good. That's a good idea. Page changes for getting on and off the path. Okay. Yeah. Funny, I didn't even think about that. And here I am saying that that's such a great way to keep things organized. But yeah, you're absolutely right. So I'll have to look at doing that. Yeah, it looks like I'm getting close to the end here of the streaming time, but I don't know if there's anybody out there. There's nobody else scheduled. Is anyone else wanting to jump on anytime soon? Because I can hang out for a little while longer and maybe check out some community stuff. Although, I tell you, I have the same issue that a lot of people do with the screen and like right now, this will not show up if I type something in here. If I pull it off into a smaller window kind of thing, then it will show up. But it doesn't always work. I still have issues with the search function in the UGC feeds working for me at all. A controller is very handy. I have to say I'm very happy to have gotten mine for Christmas, and In fact, there were a couple of games that were levels that people had shared that looked really, really good, but you had to have a controller to play them, and I was so disappointed I couldn't play. So now that I got the controller, I can go back and check those out, and that's nice. Oh, good morning, Nini. So, was there any levels that anybody wanted me to check out in this last few minutes? And WWE, if you say your wrestling level, I already knew that. I have played that. In fact, Boom Boom, the name for Boom Boom was my suggestion, and I love that you took it. And of course, so I had to go check her out. And that's a fun game. If any of you haven't played that one, definitely check that out. It's the hardcore wrestling. Actually, Aris, I do think that I checked out Witch Battle. It was one of the first ones I looked at, and we'll try and see if the search will work. When I got the controller, that was one of them, and then what was the other one that I'm blanking now on names too. The guy that did Swan Song also did another level that was really awesome, and I loved the UI and really wanted to get in and look at that. But I think that one was the issue, that it had downloadable content you can't get till you're like level 40 or something, so I couldn't even get in to see that. Although I think he might have taken that out. Yeah, I know she was a few updates ago, but your updates go fast. You've been doing a lot of work on that, and it really is amazing, and it's a lot of fun. Spark versus Zombies. Yes, chill. Anything that's created in Spark, once it goes live, and you know all of the platforms are available. If you create anything in Project Spark on one platform, you can access it from another. It will be available. It's on your account. There may be, I'm not sure, there may be some issues with local saves, but that I don't know. But you will be able to access them from all the different platforms. Well, let me see if I can find anything. Like I said, the search on this rarely works. Sometimes it will in originals. It was. Or even if I just do zombies, I think that. Oh, yeah, it's working. Cool. Okay, because I looked for this once before. This zombies here, I think, had an interesting UI mechanic or something that I wanted to check out. Oh, like a Plant vs. Zombies game. Very cool. That's actually one of my favorite games. I love that game. I use mouse and keyboard right now. Okay. Sorry, I got that. Alright, let's check it out. I love that you did this too, this idea. In fact, the level I was showing earlier, I was kind of playing around with a possible sort of Plant vs. Zombie-ish look for the garden area. So A to start, place plants, remove objects. I like your opening screen. This is very nice. Okay. Alright, so right click to pick anything up. Are these the zombies, I'm assuming? Okay, having issues placing plants here. Okay, press 1, 2. Oh, the keys. There we go. All right, read the directions. Whoa, no. This is. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Not sure if it's me or if this isn't working quite right. That's always the problem I have with these. I don't know if it's the game or if it's me. So right now it looks like I can just kill these guys by clicking on them. Is that how it's supposed to work? Yeah, so okay, so some of the mechanics that still need to be figured out, I guess, but it's looking nice. I like the feel of it. I give you a thumbs up. I tend to rate it up. I don't, even works in progress and stuff, and particularly right now when people put it out there, it's good, And if you've got some stuff, particularly say though, like if it's a work in progress, because we get so many people working in beta now that I think things are going to get flooded pretty quickly. I hope they take some of the suggestions that's been thrown out there about like doing a whole nother section for Crossroads games, because there's a lot of those. And that's, unfortunately, I mean, Crossroads is awesome. I love that they did it, the sort of make your own adventure. It's beautiful, it's the way it's done. Unfortunately, the one drawback now, which it won't be later, is that when you do the dailies, I mean, you've got a Crossroads daily every day. And if you're doing that every single day and you only have 2 or 3 or maybe less options for things, it gets boring real quick. So I was glad to hear that they have another DLC out that's going to add some more to Crossroads, so we can kind of mix that up a little bit. In fact, even when I downloaded or bought the Fireworks content and pack, and that said it was supposed to add something, and originally it didn't. It wasn't there. I was like, well, here we got it, and it's supposed to be in Crossroads. But then after the patch, it did show up, and now it's a little center item, which is nice. Gives you another option. But yeah, I think all of the people that have been in beta for a little while now, I hear a lot of people groaning about Crossroads levels out there being shared, because everyone's seen Crossroads so much now. But it's still, nonetheless, it really is nice, and I'm glad to have it in there. It's great for when you start, kind of get you into the game very easily, and it's also somewhat useful for learning code. I have gone in and saved a couple levels, and then kind of looked at how they were done to kind of get an idea of how things were set up. But some of it's complicated, so I gotta say some of the things that I'm not quite sure how they're doing the references and where things are, and that gets a little iffy. But it's definitely it's a resource. So it's fun to play when you first get in, and it's a great resource when you're first learning code. Well, it's not a great resource, but it's a resource for learning code. It seems a better resource is really the live streams here. There's so many people that are so amazing with the code and the things that they're able to do, and quickly and easily. So, well, good on you for the Sparks vs. Zombies. It's cool. I look forward to seeing what you do with it and where it goes. So. Yeah, I don't know about yeah. I kind of agree with you on that they don't really need to be shared right right now unless you take that as a starting place and you do something of it and make it your own. Then you can be sort of Crossroads inspired or something. But yeah, I don't think anyone that's really running that's been in beta any while is playing any kind of Crossroads adventures that people are sharing. In fact, I hear a lot of bemoaning and groaning about it. Let's see, what was the other one? Legend of Spark? Let's see if we will put this over here. I think I may have seen this one already as well. We'll just go to Legend and see if that works. Now see, now this one's not working. It's not giving me, it's giving me everything. Oops. It's very strange to me that it will work on some words and not others, or sometimes and not other times. I'm not sure what's going on with it. And this really drives me nuts too, because you can't see the whole screen. I know it's a resolution issue. Unfortunately, with mine, I talked to a couple people on here, and they were saying set it to 1080, and unfortunately, I'm running off a laptop, and it doesn't have a 1080 setting, so that's not available to me. Did I miss the Legend of Spark? Was that showing up somewhere? Ah, here we go. Try the vertical shooter test. I can try the controller on that, sure. For this, is this one? I didn't even read this. Equip your bow. Okay. Single jump, it seems like. Sprint by shift. Control it off. I like the cutscene. This is good. That's a nice feature, especially when you're kind of telling the controls. Gives it a good feel. Can we break these and do... You can tell I'm a Zelda player. There's a pot. Can I break it? Spark with you. I think I did play this before, and these coins are really tiny. There's a heart, but I don't need that yet. No, they're fighting each other. What are the icons over their head? Anyone know? Oh, okay, there we go. That works. Alright, now he's mad. Oh, big sword. Oh, sweet. Nice. Alright, so I guess I'm supposed to protect that little rock. It doesn't seem to do anything. But I could use that heart now. Yeah, I can't believe how long it took me to get the health working properly on mine, and how many reiterations of code I went through trying to figure out why it wasn't working. And the crazy thing is, in the player's brain, it was made invulnerable, which I don't remember doing that. I'm not sure if I ever did that. I certainly didn't do it intentionally, I don't think. It might have been one of those crazy moments where I was like testing things out and did it, but I don't remember that. And boy, oh, that drove me nuts. But it was so nice to find that it was such a simple fix, and even if it was incredibly frustrating until I found it. Cool, like the moves. Yeah, this is nice. I like the setup with it. The meters seem to be working really well. And I like the way you've got the different effects for the weapons on each mouse click, or each mouse key. I guess that seems to be all there is to it right now. Alright, very cool. Just thought why didn't it come up to rate? Maybe because I already did. Because I think I did play that once before. I always take a look at those. This is the one that you were talking about earlier that Eris checked out, right? Wall jumping, wall, yeah. That was very cool. I liked the way that looked. Especially with the ground pounding, I like that effect. Yeah, I don't know why they were attacking the rock, but and apparently we were supposed to save it. But still, very cool. Is there anything else before I get out of here? I'm a little bit over. I'm not that anyone seems to be chomping at the bit to jump in here. Give Tribal 2 gold stars. It is some awesome stuff too. I've enjoyed the streams. Does anyone else have this problem? I have a ton of things down here. A lot of those are just like, you know, where I was playing with props or checking out. That's that rotating menu. Yeah, I really like that. I was looking at the code for that, trying to understand how that was put together. Same with these, the Haunted Cornfield Village Festival, when I downloaded those content packs, and a lot of that was just I wanted to go in and look at it, see how they had things set up, and learning. So there's a lot of different ways to learn how to do things in Project Spark. Oh, let's see. Why does it do that? Wow, it's really shortened the amount of letters I can type in there right now. Let's see if we get even parts. Oh, why is this going on? Here's the vertical shooter. This is the one somebody wanted with for the controller, right? Oh yeah, your spheres too. Yeah, in fact, I was playing around with those a little bit from the jumping from one to the other. What? Oh, I'm trying to remember what I did with that. There was a kind of a cool effect from it. Okay, so using the controller. Okay, fine. Testing all the buttons. So it looks like right now just the movement, which I'm not sure what you're going for here. It's an arrow, so it kind of is that way okay. Is this the one you were talking about moving diagonally? Because no, it's not. It does not move diagonally on using the joystick. I do not know why that would be. Yeah, I can see that. That's fine now on the keyboard. There's not no problems with it going diagonally. But nope, it's still not working on. At least on this one, is not working on the controller. Yeah, it is weird. Yeah, I can't really thumbs up this one. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I hope that wasn't too loud. Blow anybody's eardrums out. Alright, for WWE, we'll try this wrestling though again. See if we can get this to come up. It is a cool game. I'm not very good at it, but it's very cool. I can't wait for these issues to be fixed. That's going to be so much better. I was watching somebody else stream too, and their whole feeds were in like multiple lines and took up the screen and kind of resized it. It looked really nice. I was like, why isn't mine doing that? I'm going to scroll through a little bit here and see if I can find that. Wow, there are a bunch jumping in. I'm usually pretty good at keeping up on what's coming in. Of course, I was sick this week, so and had a lot to catch up on today, so I didn't get a lot done on Spark. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Have to stop and check the Weeping Angel out. Big Doctor Who fan, so I don't know. You might have seen it in one of those thumbnails of my games. That in one of them there was a little TARDIS icon, which I've seen a couple people do. So I kind of quit working on that for now, but. Might come back to it because so far everyone that I've seen, a couple that I've seen out there, they're nice looking, but they're just an object. They're not really interactable, and I'd like to do something like that. But I think maybe Kelly that's doing that as well. She killed me already. Well, I'm back in time somewhere. This reminds me a little bit of that the Slender game that's running around out there. Oh, there we go again. I don't even get to see her when she's killing me. Alright. Enough of that. But yeah, that just kind of walking around that Slender one, and it scared me actually the first time they came up with it, especially with the loud noise. I was like, damn. But then I guess that was effective. It was what the game was meant to do, so. Okay, yeah, that's good, Tribal. Yeah, getting ready to wrap this up anyway, and thanks to everybody for watching, and I'm going to be doing this regularly on Friday nights, so hopefully next time we'll have a little more to show you, and some more tips that I picked up along the way. And in the meantime, I'll be looking at what you guys are creating and what you're streaming. So don't forget to follow the channel and check out project-spark.org. Make sure you're involved there. That's the unofficial community forums. And as long as they're having issues with the official forums right now, that's a really good place to go to get some help and just beta key if you still need it, and things like that. It's a great community out there. I've been so impressed with everybody that's part of Project Spark's community, and glad to be a part of it. So on that note for me, that's all here, and I'll be signing off. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good one wherever you are.